Well, I've got a new one for today. This is my 99 Yukon, and I'm going to show you some of the things I did recently. So, as you can tell, there's a lot of power wires up here, and the reason is because over there on the other side, there's a fuse box that has its own junction block, and basically what it is that's for the accessory power inside the vehicle, ECM power, and a few other things. And then on this side, right down here, is the main starter cable, and the ground runs down to the front of the block. Alright, so what I did was, right here, I've got these cables run here, and I've got a shutoff switch from an antique Rolls Royce right here. That's on, that's off, and I've got it right next to my starter excite switch. Now, the reason that did not kick the starter is because the power switch is off. So what I did was, I have one of these cables run up to one side of the switch, the load side, from my starter. Then I have another one run underneath the battery box and coming up right here, going to the junction block, which is right here. And because I'm running a 290 amp alternator for my subwoofers, I've got a 300 amp fuse here. Now, this side goes to the charging, I'm sorry, let me rephrase it. This side goes to, this right here goes to the fuse box. This side here goes to the junction switch, which is the main power kill. And this side here goes to the alternator. Now, the reason I have it set up like this is this thing is set up with a lot of high performance features. I've got a big charging system. I've got some accessories in here. I've also got quick disconnect winches for the front and rear. I've got a lot of power running everywhere. And then I have two 3,500 watt 14-inch subwoofers. And I was running a power acoustic, and I was also running a crunch, and then I was later running a Blaupunkt and a Pioneer. I've run through a couple different amps trying to find the right sound. A suggestion I have is do not try the auto gain. That's a terrible feature, honestly. But what I've got here on this side again is the main power here. One of these wires, this one here, runs to the excite switch for the starter. This one here is my power switch run to the main power for the relay here for my fans. And this power here, the big cable, is run to the switch. Now, if you notice, sorry about that, if I hit this now, it clicks my solenoid, but it will not do anything but. But that's a good way to test if it's your solenoid that's the issue or if it's your starter itself. Now, when I turn this on, now I have full power across that junction block to and from the alternator and to and from the fuse box. Also, power to the starter. Now, if I hit this switch, it cranks over. Now, I actually had something funny happen. If I can find it up here. I've got another one of those switches. I'll show you what it looks like. It's a pretty common thing. And I do not believe I have it up here. Oh, goodness. I guess I don't have another one. But all it is an on-off switch that threads in. And basically, what it does is it has two terminals, and it cuts power or connects power. And it's a spring load switch, so that when you turn it, it locks into position similar to how a solenoid works. You need more contact pressure for more power. Because if you, I don't know if you've ever tried this, but if you just barely touch your battery terminal to your battery here, you're not going to get started. And if you do, it's a miracle and probably a small engine. This one, if they're loose, it won't start. It's a high compression 383. I'm running cast iron heads, but they've been, 6-angle valve job and all kinds of other stuff. But the thing is because of that, it requires a lot of starter power to start it. So I have to be mindful of that. However, that switch seems to work perfectly. And now I have a full safety cutoff. I have a fuse. And on this side, because I'm going to end up running a bigger cable across. This one is a, single watt or single lot. I have a heavier cable here that I'm going to run to the battery. That is a 4-aught, and you could weld with that. Over here is where the junction block is on the side of the fuse box. This one is fused and runs to my subwoofers. And then, of course, I have my trailer hitch wiring coming off of here for my trailer brakes and for my 7-pin. Here is where, there's a loose one. Oh, it's just a spare. This is my fuse box, which is powered separately from the starter. However, if the excite wire is not connected on your vehicle, do note you're probably not going anywhere, especially if it's an older vehicle, and Chevy in particular. Even the Fords and Dodges, if your excite wire is not on there, you will not get power through the rest of your vehicle. But I do have a cool thing to show y'all. So I'm going to pause the recording real quick, and I'm going to show you it's on an 86 Rolls Royce. Alright, so this is the 86 Rolls, and something funny that might surprise you, this is the base model, but as you can tell, that is a Rolls Royce, and this is where I got the first switch out of, but I found something kind of neat. This is not a very common thing. This is the main power cable running from where the switch was right here in this eyelet, and this is a wool-wrapped quadruple-aught cable. They quit using wool wrapping on cables because when it gets older, it starts coming apart and it can be a fire hazard. But that's pretty neat. And what's really funny is, if I can find it, they were only running a single-aught, which is not much bigger than this here, up to the switch here, and then running that huge quadruple-aught all the way forward, which makes very little sense. But it's kind of neat either way. This car was actually a fire hazard when we got it. We didn't realize how bad it really was. I'll show you what we found. Still a cool car, though. We didn't buy it for the fire hazard nature, though. But, I mean, as you can tell, it ain't perfect inside. Doesn't have the rear tables in the back of the seats. The armrest does not open here in the back like the regular ones do. Still a Rolls Royce, still solid as a tank. We ended up buying it for parts. Here, I'll show you in the front, too. As you can see, it's rough, but it's still cool. Here's where the key switch is for this car, and it's got a beautiful Nardi on it. Needs woodwork done, but it's not terrible. All of the woodwork is pretty much cracked and busted, but the door panels are all right, and just re-dye them. Everything in there is real leather. We took out the trim ring here for the windshield to fix up our white rolls, and now, what I found in here that was especially dangerous is from this, that's the AC compressor, here it is, alternator here on the back, they ran what looked like a quadruple-aught cable to this mess of wires over here where things are cut and falling apart, relays are missing, there's a junction block in there. I mean, this thing was a rolling house fire. I mean, it is a mess electrically. There's a bunch of stuff that's cut up. I'm guessing they were trying to wire away from the original power system on this, but we hooked up to the main power running to the starter that I showed you, which would be that big quadruple lock cable, because we found out that the switch was it was broken. It looked fine, it was in good shape, but it's not making contact inside. So what we did was we hooked a jumper to the main power there to basically bypass that switch, and we hit the key switch, nothing but a starter click. And then when we hit the relay over there, again, we got starter click, but no rotation of the engine. And that power wire runs directly up to the engine's terminal on the starter. And because of that, we know that the starter is faulty. The guy we got it from didn't really know much about Rolls Royces, but he didn't even speak English very well. All he said was it ran, and he don't know why it stopped. But one of the main reasons we got it is it had the European headlights and a really nice grill shell, and the spirit on top, the little lady, is known as the Spirit of Ecstasy, which is a cool piece of trivia. But we took the headlights, and they were in really good shape. We took the grill shell, and for instance, that grill shell alone is worth over $2,000. So we paid $1,500 for this. I think we did pretty good. What's up, Tom Tom? That's our little shop line meowing away. He takes care of mice and other cats in the neighborhood coming up into the yard. We jokingly call him Mike Tyson. But I did a video not too long ago of our other Rolls where we did the vinyl top on it. This one does not have a vinyl top. It's the same exact roof, but I wanted to show you what it looked like before that was put in. Factory, they had a piece of headliner glued in between these rails here, and so we did the same thing with some old headliner we had, and then we glued it down. Me personally, though, I love the hard tops. It's so much. Look, I'll show you why. Right here on these windows, right above and right below, I guess you can't really see that, and down in here, they rot on the vinyl tops, and it eats it away, and that's a hard thing to fix. But it's a beautiful car if it's, cleaned up. We're not going to do that with it, sadly. We're going to use it to fix our Bentley and our Rolls Royce that are really nice, because even Flying Spares, which is a company that buys up old Royces, they do the same thing. They cut off all the good stuff from these junk cars, and they resell it, because here's the thing. When Rolls-Royce of Crew sold to BMW, which is what your modern Rolls-Royces are, and for Bentley was sold to Volkswagen, and that's what they are now, Rolls-Royce got rid of all the parts, basically, and all the molds and all the computers. It's all gone. You can get a couple things, but don't want to show that. That's not our license plate. Like these tail lights are basically, they're made of chicken's teeth. You ain't gonna find them. The trim on here, again, it's made of chicken's teeth. You're just not going to find it. Gas tanks, key switches. I mean, they're really cool cars though, and you can pick up one in the 70s for $3-4 grand. Same with the 80s. They're not bad. They really aren't. They're cool cars. You're going to fight with it every once in a while. They're very finicky. They're not like regular cars. They really aren't. They're a chauffeur car. They're meant to be driven a couple times a month and put away. That's why they come with kill switches. And they're pretty reliable. It's just, it's not like anything else you've ever seen. Rolls-Royce literally had a saying that, why do with one bolt what you can do with 10 bolts? And I'll show you some of that up underneath the hood here. This has K-Jet on it in particular. Alright, here's the strut tower. Now, if you take these bolts all out that are all the way around here, and there's a lot of them, alright, this whole strut will shoot up. That's all that's holding it, is these bolts here, which are pretty heavy duty. And then you can disassemble this with special tools, but it's not advisable. There's something else. This is the intake. I mean, that's cast aluminum or iron. I'm not sure. I think it's aluminum. It's pretty, but it's a bit much. And then, I don't know if it's got all of its hubcaps. It does not. This is a car. Look at that spread pattern. It's 5-lug, but it's massive. And interestingly, this is a full floating independent rear end, which is, I mean, I've never seen that on anything else. I really haven't. And it actually takes the same wheelbarrows from Timken. It's a cool trick for you. Look up the number on your Timken bearings and you will find what you're looking for. These are the same ones back here. I guess you can't see it. It's got the hubcap and they're key lock hubcaps. Those are pretty rims though. But it has hubs like the rear end of a dually does, or a 3500, and they're the same rear axle bearings as the front axle of a 2500 2000 Chevy. Ugh. Trying to get you in here to see this. I really can't. This thing is on the ground, but if you can see it, that there is the rear pumpkin, which is massive. This is a massive, massive rear end. And this car, I mean, calling it a car is not the best thing to say, because in all reality, it weighs over 5,000 pounds. And I mean, it's built like a truck. It rides like a glassy truck. It's insanity. It really is. Cool rims though. I wish I could take these off. I do not have the key to them. We got it somewhere, but it's neat. But anyway, that's what we got going on today at the Blind Car Garage, and I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you. God bless.